Yoga. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Gita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dhamma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lice, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy Gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued, exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Sarshipaki Chushi Meto Pramari Rablishi Ni de Gempa Sange Shi Mi de By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his two sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one Losandrapa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the two stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one enter my crown. white nectar the color of milk, flows from the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktema 3 times. Migmet zewe terchen chenrezig dreamek yempe yang dupo Naweda Ganchen Kepe Tsungen Tsongkapa Losandra Pe Shava Solvade Migmet Zewe Kempe Champeliang Tupo Malu Joses Ganchen Kepe Tsungen Tsongkapa Losandra Pe Shava Solvade Migmet Sewe Terchen Chenrezig Dreamek Yempe Wampo Jampeliang Dupo Malu Jonze Sanwedak Ganchen Kepe Tsungen Tsongkapa Losandra Pe Shapla Solvade.
Sangye chedan tsojun chonum la chanchu pardu dani kyabsun she dagi chushi yebonda da dholam peshe sanjin drubar sho Sangye chedan tsojun chonum la chanchu pardu dani kyabsun she dagi chushi yebonda dagi dholam peshe sanjin drubar sho Sangye chedan tsojin chonum la chanchu pardu dani kyabsun she dagi chushi yebonda dagi dholam peshe sanjin drubar sho 강기 투즈니 존네 다와 통제 범비식 담비춘 된제 과덤 될라 창zel로 시진 경건자비 로드 계산나비 gen규 렉시 수차비 베젤하면 제비 통데 템비 통된라 정설 나몰하이 깨달로다 노젠기 트본다다 미게 넘다 로군지 다는 지점바 탐지게도 다기 쉐된 또 Good morning everyone. 샤바데레 잠발라.
Madhutile Kishla.
안간주 대리 니 고춘 단니도 니스르루로기 테니 다와타바 돈타타바 자니마 타바라야 지 쇼게 젠데치 초야 테테린 고츠 거레스라
So, from today, in the year 2026, so every week, every month, and every Sunday, so we are conducting this class. So, from today, we started this class.
SPS not every Sunday, only a choice. Yeah, it's okay, no problem. Yeah. Tinza tanganzu Friday dan ani Sunday la ya zindati ani da zu di karso da chi dabala ya nanche la ya tongnan che ani chi semkam da dibi toni ani chi sorwa shesa indi gi da chi tiwa kandra chi yo bai na ya teni nganzu da ti lendeb kanyon chi on ki karso da chi manso la ya ani shandeb shuya gi da 고급 손에 직다 최종원이 쯤바리스 사든다 SPC 원이 뒷쯤바리스 된자 안기 뒤돌아야 나랑원이 단답거다 장샤비 다 난주고 토니 캐런솔이야 삼수 지와 난주된 제비 샘감된 제비 지와 카리 여바나 땅초거리스 안 델야 지 닝원이 강 시바트 다지 난주된 제비 토니 강 시바티 안 캐런솔이야 랜드치에 유수 틴디 차고르스로.
So most of the Friday and Sunday, so this institution is conducting classes, and whatever the questions you have, and those who are interested in Buddhism, and whatever emotions or whatever questions that you have, so we are going to, like, it's almost like Q&A session, question and answer session. So and with SPC and all the community of this Chenrezig institution is giving services to all the interested people. So actually, we are conducting this session, and whatever you have some questions, whatever you have question in your mind, you can ask here, and from my behalf, I will answer in my best possible way. I will actually answer them all.
라다지 강주 기침부지 통과했으라. 강주 샘나올라야 독보여 대교직. 아니 학는 지금 난슈의 데비톤이 딘지 토야 강주 아니 독보세야스나 문도 소수지 아니 난슈의 데비기 치제 난슈의 데비 냠링 네세타 토르타야기 토라 강주 셴데트 슈투그라스라. 최소 두고야 그거는 조데 디차고레스라. 아니 지 롬바 델니비 아니 만소 디디 지 샘나올라야 시디 트리야게 다 미유 딘디 송첸다 로 아니 간주 최소도 다 주바인자 아니 인디 차고레스
Of course, it's very important to be able to conduct such sessions like this question and answer sessions or discussions, and whatever that you have in your mind, or there's some doubts, of course, with regard to Buddhism. And so it's, of course, it's my responsibility to clear with these doubts, and whatever the thinking that you have in your mind, especially with regard to Buddhism. And actually, this institution, Chenrezig Institution, the main goal is to help others and create such a condition where other people can, this doubts can be cleared away. And this is one of the main reason to set this kind of this Chenrezig Institute.
지단니 넘버 상기비기 추슬라운디 샘감단 디비 samlu rinpachi la ya sugu yores. Ra namba sanjibi bicho di nganzu la ya lusem niyebi nani zu semgam dan jebi teni samlu tangdang ka rinpachi la ya sugu yores chashi chik resirwa.
So generally speaking, with regard to Buddhism, and of course it's mainly about mind. For example, we have like both body and mind, of course, but when we talk about Buddhism, it's mainly we are talking about mind.
Inza tanda nganzu namba sanjibi bicho tenani tachik pegyu nandink nganzu tanda ani jang she gomdeyagi nancho di ani pegyu nandin di chagore pegyu nandin gi chug kong tuksa yona mena di ani gyagar ki ani nalendala ya tugyores nalendala ki kibi ongbatsu pendu chubden gyagar muchik tuytado sonde ta chik pendu chubden ki ani chusutila ya tugyores ani pendu chubden ki ta chik senanda nalendala ki chugyu nalola ya ani those my on the semkam di kazus jangbayna 공반 탐멜든 줘요 아직 송요레스 먼저 샘감기 종들디 샘구 종들디 가주스기 종들 제바이나 뒤쪽이 드니 종들디 세토를 줘요 봐 간지 탐매번 패요 봐 류 종들디 하요지레스 세진지레스로 베나 총당 아니 러소바 아니 취자야다 지 총야로 소바디 가주스 장바이나 간점질래요 코 세지여를 모두 함에도 배요와 딘지 차기요 말레스 임바이나 샘컴기 샘기 종들디 아니 함에번 배요 디송요레스
And with regard to Buddhism, especially yes, Tibetan Buddhism, that we study, contemplate, and meditate on, that the main source actually comes from here, the Nalanda University, or the Indian Buddhist point of view, or it comes actually, the main source comes from like Nalanda University, which is in India. And all the great masters from this university or Nalanda University or from India, it's especially 17 great masters that His Holiness has always been telling this. So actually, whatever we learn, contemplate, or study, it's actually comes from these great masters, especially 17 great masters from India. And with regard to this mental or mind, when we study about the mind, and this mind is actually, if we try to study or contemplate, it's actually, this mind can, this mind is able to study very well, and there is no limit at all. If we try to study, there is no limit at all. With regard to the body, it's actually quite limited. For example, like if we try to jump actually we can jump at a certain limit, and there is no something like it can be not like something like limitless. In the other way, we try to learn about the mind, or if we try to generate a compassion or whatever, these things, it's like limitless.
인자다 나도 비교 난딩기 추스라운디 만제의 캥그러서로 네 겨울무치기 뒤딱도 되니 개침부 인비기 냉가지요라다 냉가디 양니한테 ngodre 나연식 용고다서로 비교 난딩기 추디 지 나렌들이야 콩뚝이요를 세웠자 마인바 간저치는 나렌데니 마 교와용 땅디 아니 하지 코와이나 배 개침부 아니 디 토모마인 비 개추 통투야지 이 토모마인 비 개추 통투와나 안 델레야 아니 지 로존 제약이 쪼와요지 아니 로존 제약이 쪼와질래바이나 로존 제 투야지 로존 제니 아니 랑기 아니 샘감나야 펜투야지 다 용구 여반자 다 딘딜라 미기니 다 인기라서 겨울무치 다지 베기 난딩기 추디 아니 지금 남 추나니 다 지금 만들어지 강인바디 양양 송구요레스.
And with regard to the Tibetan Buddhism, as I stated earlier, that it actually comes from the Nalanda University, and of course His Holiness always telling this to us, and actually His Holiness is also giving introduction where our Tibetan Buddhism comes from, and what are its main sources, and its main source is comes from Nalanda University and Nalanda Masters. Actually, you all know, and actually, we should be able to know this so that we can understand what are its sources and what are its main characteristics and how this religion or this religion can help us in some way so that we can generate uh, we can generate something like, okay, this the main teachings comes from the Nalanda University, and so that we can feel like, okay, I need to study them, or I need to study too.
지난 뒤로부터 두번 돈반이 치니 아니 난주디 별을 탈샤와지 고추샤와지 난주디 별은 고추바니 치는데 벽이 다지 아니 야보름 슌기 아니 밤을슬이야 지 난주자에게 고급 륜지 로드국 망부 야갈당 아니 야가기 깨대 이기장 아니 야가기 취장 아니 니니 수지 아니 벽에 돌아 귤 해실 로자타 숨쉬지기리나야 아니 깔레 쇼 잡네 아니 벽에 돌아 귤 간진 돌 뒤나 로자타 게 구사지기 제라 아니 나렌다기 취기 용수 조바디 아니 벽 간진 종았어 아니 귤투바지 라 펜루 줍딩기지 아니 송포드 니겔 하저스 니겔 하저 이 용수 조바디 벽에 돌아 귤 이 아니 벽이 아니 랍숑 쓰기 롭존체 이게 펜루기 렉시도서 식딜로스음 and Dylan Deshit Shu and Ditola Samlotan, Ditola Rolinche, and Ditola Gom Gabche. Kanji Turup Chushikala, and Jangolo Sunga were paying the Shujik, any Siwichin, any Nananda Kibi issues with number Sanji Chu, Donga Yons over D, any Yitola Mapab, you're there, Tindich. The Pugin Nanding should Tindich Chagores. 디 아니 남비 야컵 지단 난추디 야컵 뭐라 타리어 바이나야 디 난신지 안는 잠블리는 세가도 자원이 요 말이스 매 탁저려 왔다 이제 딘디기 딱 아니지 슈다 슈지 송게 위탁부 슈지 요요디 당한즈 로 아니 뉴실 하질이야 잠바인자 아니 디톨라 캐런즈 트러버지단 땡땡한즈 아니 렌지 잡 투그야 삼비기 따지 샘나올이야 뽑아도 디어레스로
Go in a minute.
고도
I was
고도
saying a little. So Buddhist, so Tibetan Buddhism actually it started from 6th or 7th century in Tibet, and of course, since every anyhow from the 6th or 7th century, the Tibetan kings have sent or the actually or 6th or 7th century, the Indian masters, actually Tibetan kings, they decided to bring some Indian masters to Tibet, and from there on, the Tibetan Buddhism began to flourish. And from there on, these Tibetan people, you know, have fortunate to learn the Buddhism, and from there on, the Tibetan kings they sent their Tibetan to India, and to India to study more about the Buddhism. And um, so after that, what happened is after 3 or 4 centuries, then what happens is every like this uh, whatever is in Indian tradition, all these texts are actually translated in Tibetan itself, and Tibetan can learn this Buddhism in uh, Buddhism in like in Tibetan language. So especially, for example, like all those great masters, as we talked earlier, that especially 17 great masters of Nalanda University, they have actually written more than 200 or 300 volumes of texts, and all these, textbook are something that Tibetan people are now studying. First, they try to memorize the root text, then try to understand its meaning, and later they try to meditate on all these texts. And about 14th century, Lama Tsongkhapa actually uh, came into the Tibet, and he he compiled or he composed many texts, and Tibetan people are fortunate enough to study this wonderful texts. And of course, this Buddhism is flourished in this world. But what I believe is this all the main source from India, whatever all the texts that is being translated into Tibetan. So Tibetan people are fortunate enough to learn all these texts. And for me, I was able to study more than 20 years. So of course, today, if you have some questions, then of course I can answer them too.
Don't know. I don't know.
Hello.
Yeah, the patient was yeah, that is yeah. That was that pivot to toss on. But this is
Hello.
the cancer to cheese. Running it to land of chose.
So if you have questions, then I will answer.
Thank you. And the Toma in by the Tamboins.
Hello.
It means lavroches.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh, very
So,
special. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Very
so if
special.
you first time you come here, then please let me know also. I'm first or new here, so you can start like this.
I haven't come here. I've come here with my wife. Probably haven't come for 10 years. We lived up here for 25 years. I think we came many times, but it's been about 10 years. Thank you.
I came here 11 years ago.
Okay.
When the Dalai Lama came, so maybe you came same time?
2014,
Or 2011, I think he came.
11, this Dalai Lama.
When he came here to bless.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was here too. Yeah, I here before, long before him.
Two questions. I just a very simple one. When Buddhism is called a religion, to my mind, my question is it a religion or is it more a sort of the awakening of something that exists? Like, is it something that you require faith for, or is it something that as you follow it, you're awakened to something that is always there? So therefore not, the Western sense of religion tends to be a bit of a box of an idea.
고선.
And another question? Second question?
일랍샤나?
Plus. Okay, I will try to first tell first question. 아니 고란 당에만 일로니 상하스 페진데 리유스라 아니 고란 기능염도 유스 아니 다 로추스 냠데 파레드 콜레 라마손스 오덴데 리스타트리 차탐볼리기 유스 아니 고란 티원니 유스 다 티와 당보디 낭슈세디 다 고란즈 다디 탕이 데페주당도 릴리전 레 마레스
네.
아니 다 슐루치 레베 마레스 아니 야치 야메나니 직 수수기 모베네트 강하 요바티 디 아니 세르타야 수르치 파텐데치 레베스 디 칸데이나스
에케랑 티오델라 자오르무지기 빼 시우송 요레스타. 아몽이 디직신인데 자오르무지기 빼 시우송 요레스. 먼저 난추 디 야 파 쳔바지 그신. 남비 아니 출룩 다 religion 아니 남비기 샘감리바 아니 남비 체리 남비 따줍세지 실업 거요레스
So with regard to your question is actually Solinist the Dalai Lama gives a very clear answer and actually this Buddhist religion or Buddhism, whether it's religion or not, actually it can be divided into four categories. First is Buddhist religion, and the second is the Buddhism is the psychology, and third one is there's this Buddhist philosophy, and Nangbet Tadukche, Semkam Rinpoche, Ani Nangbet
남비 체리
Chulukche,
남비 체리
and Buddhist so science. So actually you can classify it into four. Yes.
Thank you very much. Sorry to hog the microphone. Just the second question, what I've been dealing with is, I guess it's a universal concept of past, present, and future. And on the individual level, we move through life. Everyone these days talks about living in the now. To my mind, it's constantly the past is moving, you're moving through past, present, future. What is the Buddhist perspective on these phases of past, present, and future on an individual level, and also on a greater humankind level? Where do we exist in that cycle? Or in some ways, the future doesn't exist. So just the concept of past and present constantly evolving.
아니 다 점링 지찬 쉐바이 나스라 아니 다 뒤세 계시우서 뒤 아니 마홍체 다다체 아니 대바 아니 라바 동아주 계시 쉐드다 다다와디 쪼르신 계시 시기요레스 아니 다 소소모니 게르기 아니 토니 쉐바이네야 아니 아주 다 쪼디 다다와 차기요레스 아니 낭추문이 쉐바이나 다 마홍바다 아니 대바다 근데 계시 시기르시 마레스
야지자단 바 이 땡무연네 수지로 왔어 데비 로르규 가르총 여바대 무연네 수 다당한저 가린 용구 여바대 무여 멍바 가르가린 용구 여바대 딱 무여 뉴스면 된자 디 쇼지 예 14부지는 송여로 왔어 얘는 미치기 미sel을 잡아이나 아니 데비 로르규 실라샤체 아니 다다비기 삼로당당 아니 다다비기 삼로당당을 때니 종규 마음비기 아니 종한디 아니 교드로서 그럼바디 세우쇼진 송거라서라
Of course, in Buddhism, we talk about future or past, present, and future. And this is something, reality. So it exists. And for example, like in this life or the life of some individual person, of course, we talk about the past or past history, based on past history, then what's happening now. So this is like present, and in the future too, what we should do. These are actually, in reality, this exists, and Buddhism also said that there is a past, there is present, and there is future too.
단다 저당 안주기 남비 따주 코란라야 땡종세의 송거라서라 땡닌종아 땡닌종아 송거연자 추 간다징 바이나야 땡닌종아다 뜨니 샤바지 마도 아니 마템바 마테버 라왕 트츠치 메바디타 남비 따주브레스 이 무비 닐루당 자니 셰고라서라
So in Buddhist philosophy, we are talking about something exists because something exists, not something exists dependently. Something exists because there are some causes and conditions. And so this Buddhist philosophy, we talked about, as I stated earlier, that we talk about things exist dependently. And so when we talk about things exist dependently, then we are saying that things exist not independently. So when we talk about this, this is something there in the nature. It's we are trying to understand what is the nature of reality here.
페나 단데 계란기 다다와디 개체슈레스 네바다 마음바 이치 개친종소르지 다치 시기 텐서더라 다다와디 개친보레스야지 다 디톨랑 안주 14부지 깨저기 지워지 때문에 다다와 개친보레스 다다와디 단다딜라고에 대링이 모들라고 그러다 가르레스 라바이나 가장기 니모 대링이 니모 산이 니모 니모 숨라 때바이나 대링이 니마데 다다와 차고 알아서 이케랑 그 다다와데 개침보레스야디 파지 14부 돈이 성단이 다다와 개침부 이야기 다다와데 문진지 제바이나 아니 배 이니 티와디 띵사부 쇼질라 드라야지 차고 알아서
So in your question, you said that, of course, this very moment or present is very important. And as far as I'm concerned, or I understand that past and future it's not so important. So when we say that this very moment or present is very important, then in explicitly it says that future and past is not so important. Anyhow, is this when we say this very present moment or present is important, then actually we need to understand what are you trying to say? What is this present? For example, like today, yesterday, and tomorrow. So if we try to analyze like this, then what happens is today means today only, this very day, and yesterday is past, and tomorrow is future. So if we try to maybe one should try to analyze in such a way, and what we are trying to say when we say present, this moment, are we trying to say this? So this question becomes now very important.
인디기 14부 성당 바이나 다다와 슬라온디기 다다와 슬라온디기 근데 뜻직 색인직 윤소르지 색인직 돼야 네 마음 다도 뒤숨 치온디 데니다 다다와 데다 윤세 튼동 쇼지 창로야 시키 용도 왔어요 인자다 아니 다뜨니 시바이나 다다와당 다 마음바니 다다와도 마음발로 뜨네 다다와도 기체월에 세월에 네발로 뜨네 다다와도 기체월에 세월에 딜도 som다운디 데니 딱 가서다 지 오늘 전에 있다 지 디케션보르스는 쇼지 비 아니 착신 치사 메교로지 타마 기체무지 데니 동양도 해서요 현자지도 하서라 다디
And if we try to analyze what is this present moment, so what are we trying to say when we say present or this very moment? So if we try to analyze, then the present moment means maybe we can say this very 1 minute or 1 second, or we can say this is present moment. And with regard to second, it can be also divided. So which one is the present? So if we try to analyze, or if we try to go subtle and subtler level, so actually there will be a stage where we can't, place pinpoint, or this is the present. So what we should do here is when we talk about present, then actually it's dependent. It depends on some other things, some other causes and conditions. So here, when we talk about present, so it is solely dependent on past or future. So especially when we say this very moment or this present times is very important, then maybe in this very question, maybe we are asking, or we are so attached to this particular moment. So that's why it's important to think about past and future too. So if we try to analyze in such a way, then it's little bit very actually it can bring some importance to our life when we say what this very moment or this present itself becomes very important. And if we try to analyze more, then what happens is we will understand that when we say present, actually it depends on past and it depends on future too. So if we try to understand or recognize all these things, then what happens is our this attachment towards the present or future or past, or especially the present, then it will loosen up, it will fade away, or it will eliminate the attachment towards this very present moment.
인자 네 마음 닫았음 뒤에 이 전부 쇼지 이 니출 뒤에 배 개침부 차가도 왔어라 이 니출 뒤 개침부 매바나 되는 안줄라 개침부 가야 매겨지 차야지 내 마음 닫아 뒤숨 그 니출 뒤 개침부 매나 안 안줄라 니출 뒤수 개침부지 가야다 달라고요 말아왔어라 단 내 마음 닫아 뒤숨 그 남자 뒤에 아니 직 색인 찍으려야 내 마음 닫아 뒤숨 세야 되죠 아니 직 니마 찍을 임바이나야 내 마음 닫아 뒤숨 세야 되죠 또 지디 돈타직 로직 메시지 참말라 그 뜨니 내 마음 닫아 뒤숨 세야 되죠 dindig da ro demang ta da jusum gi namja chetang di ha ko wai na tene ting sabu shuj resta demang ta da jusum ni su hajang gi ting sabu
So with regard to past, present, and future, these three times, of course, all these three times, I guess it's very important for us. And if these three times is not so important, then I guess there will be no importance with regard to the time. And when we say present moment or this very moment, actually the present can be many, we can think in a different way also. Like, for example, like 1 second. 1 second is also, we can say this is the present moment. And with regard to 1 week and 1 month, 1 year, so all this can become a present moment or present. We can say this is a present or this very moment. So we can analyze in such a way. And when we talk about three times, past, future, past, present, and future, this is actually the presentation of this three times. This is actually very profound, and it's a very profound question, and so we should analyze it more.
인zam 종규 망 바디 개침부지 멤바이나 다다 먼저 다다와데 자발랍친 제자 칸요 말했어 종규 망 바디 개침부지 메나 종규 망 바세 개침부지 메나 얘네 먼저 다다 내급서 아니 자발랍친 제자 칸요 말했어 칸요 말했어 종규 망 바디 지 약부 용다 마용디 다다위 잡아치발이야 라글리게 열어서 다다위기 자와 약부 제투다 마투디 데비 냠뇽 실샤니 아니 야지 요나 데니 다디기 자와디 자발랍친 제투야 종규 몽바디 아니 지 랍친지 용토야기 자와디 다다위 내가 제투고 열어서
So with regard to future, if future is not so important, then I guess we will not be able to do the things whatever that we are doing in this present moment. So that means whatever we are doing right now, actually, it will help in future. And like in future, so if we try to do or if we try to create a good job, then actually it will help in future too. And with regard to the present moment, actually we can have if we have some knowledge about the past, then actually this past, this history or whatever, this will help to do some good things in the present moment too. So what I'm trying to say here is past, future, and present. These all three times becomes very important in our daily life.
We have a question. We've got a question online that's been there for a while.
Yeah, you please.
So ask question? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mine's more of a reflection than a question. Having heard about the past, present, future. Okay. So our future at the moment, the way the future we see for our children, and that makes us anxious. So it's not so much for us. We've had a wonderful life. We've had past that have been sad. Some have been anxious. Some have been happy. Our present is fairly good, but we worry about the future, not so much for ourselves, but so for the future generation, the way the world is going. I think that makes us anxious. How do we separate ourselves from that sort of worrying about You know, we keep saying live for the moment, live for today, which you can achieve and say we won't worry about that. But the fundamental human need is health, wealth, and happiness, which is sort of being well, being secure, and being happy. But sometimes that sort of three elements really elude us in our day-to-day life. We work because we want to make a future better. We work because we want to be comfortable. We work because we want to be secure. And yet sometimes I've sort of grown in a very mixed family where my father was ancestral worshipper. My mother was Buddhist. I grew up in a convent. And so I've had this sort of, my husband's Church of England. So I've grown up with taking elements from every religion, and they all basically say, live for the moment, live for this. Buddhism has given me some kind of grounding in finding that peace, because I don't have to justify myself when I come into a monastery. When I go to a Catholic church, you kind of feel you've got to feel part of that in order to be part of that community. If you go to a mosque, you have to be part of they have a certain code of conduct that you abide by in order to believe. I feel that Buddhism has finally beginning to give me that peace I'm looking for, so I can just slot in and slot out. And whenever I feel I need to I'm losing my way, I feel that I can just come in and find that peace so that I can make my future much more livable for myself, because I keep saying I've got to live for the moment. But I do worry about when I talk about this with my children, they keep saying it's okay for you, but we don't see a really good future. So it makes them very anxious. And I do see a lot of the children, the younger generation, suffering with mental health, anxiety. So how do we deal with that, with taking the elements of Buddhism and putting that into practice?
아니 다 코로나 단다디 되숨 걸 계절이샤 다다와다 마음부터 대버스니 아니 코로나 기르긴 거니 쉐바이나 아니 마음보다 더 딘스톨라 아니 믹스기 간이데 믹스 메스 아니 말한도 남기 계시 시리 점발라다 마음보다 대버세디 지당하시는 시라 사모탄기 요 말이스 또 사모탄 다다디 또 레세지 다든지 남규니 랍수든지 도스 아니 딱이나 다대체를 기우요나 기우요레 도부요나 도부요레 세지 텐데레 다 이네 코란 티워조 디카레스나 아니 마오버 코란 슈슈 셈데데 메두데 이네야 다 코란 마오버 도 사모타엔디 학퍼드 코란 부이나 아니 딘졸 페미스 셈데투 마오버 부운조 가르차기요나 아니 딘데 차에 직제 오다 딜라 코셈데두 아니 지단타 코란 다 수수 레가치 인도 잠발라 아니 지 레가치에 대야 아니 마오버 야보요야 아니 또 인디치니 치리여러 와스 아니 코로나이나다 그 겹종 망고 유니지니스 아니 팔라다 암라 어디 수수수 간지 줄룩 타데 덴디 치딩이 지니스 아니 코로나기 쿄가 돼야 아니 던더 저스 덴데라 레가 칭이 덴디 인스 아니 간주닌 따조 남규 랍데디 아니 타다와디 소도 차게 요레스 아니 데데도 우치고 망고치고 송스 아니 디레마도 아니 직 마음보다 대바냐냐 손에 사모탄데나 아니 디타도 되기요 말레스 타고조 디드리샤 아니 다디 랍산이다 코란 조디다 간제다 낭주톨 코란 테송스 낭주 테윤디 아니 코란 셈디 데워 차송스 아니 셈 시데도 차 아니 낭주디 지 공바치나레 레스네 더 슈슈 디주든데 키모와야체 아니 딘데 레샤스다 아니 샴바니 이슈다 다나시체니 인데나 코란즈니 치카스고레 파이널 레스나 아니 디주든데 마보슈 키국도 다 코란조다 아니 나주다 테윤도 잠발다 생밤 간제 데우치도스 아니 디오조 지페진 디리스타 아니 보드조다 마움베기 토네 아니 코란 셈디 슐리기도스 아니 보드조 망체와드 셈캄 타다 마데와치 아니 직 셈게 덴데 아니 레기다 덴데기다 시자디 슈크침부 슈도스 마모칠라 덴데 레데샤스 아니 나주 토니 타단데 칸데이나스
그런 저 뒤에 야침으로 왔어. 로 안저다 디톨라야 지 찬잔지시고 좀 배야침으로 해서서 임바이네야 땡에 삼주 지시바이나 니 삼주 말데 자오르무지기 디비게 로 숨주 삭 십주 사지게 링라야 야오르무치기 차레 난당저러스 차레 난자바치 이 남주 약부치 공기 가르치는 난기요래 가발라 고는 난기요래 삼비기 지와지기 토네 드니 차레디 키침부 가주인 바치 하코바이나 아니 디페 당간주 like 키침부 차기여서레스 nga dit sorguyos nga dit samguyos.
Of course, your question is very wide and profound too. And to your questions, maybe I will try to answer it like this. So maybe you should think about His Holiness the Dalai Lama since more than 30 or 40 years, what he has been doing in this world. So maybe you can think a little bit about what His Holiness the Dalai Lama is doing since 30 or 40 years and why he is doing this and what is the importance of doing this. This is something that I feel that you should learn, or you should be more aware of what His Holiness the Dalai Lama is doing since 30 to 40 years. This is what I feel.
가르스는 쪼디 나 뒤츠 망치아지다 야오르무지기다 난추 다 밀라 난추 라비아기 뒤츠다 뒤츠 망시 땅나요레스 네 디난기 뒤츠 키침부 망부직려야 다 납쇼바기 쯔비 세리 개바 망부냠도 애니 총도 테마 숨지 쉽지 소요레스 로타르시 로지 로딱바라야지 아니 다 로송 하잔 친구 땅에 애니 세린 케바 망부츠 샨놈 그 세린 케바 망부츠 루체네 애니 아니 손도 테마 망부 소요레스
And most important thing is, of course, His Holiness is actually giving Buddhist introduction, Buddhism to all the followers or all the population of world. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama is actually having discussion with the Westerners, and especially the scientists, great scientists and learned scientists, and about 30 to 40 years. And Kishla is referring here as, I think, mind and life discussion with all the Easterners or Westerners, all the masters from these section. So he has been, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has been having discussion with all these great scientists.
이 가르레스 라운디 다 디네든 가르레스 라운디 단단한 잠블링기 사이 콜란디 요체슈 디 아니 체릭 톤 땅거레스다 로 체릭 톤이 안 잠블링기 사이 콜란는 니비 다지 소차 강가 칼로로디 아니 슉체슈도 딱 아니 체릭 톤이 칼로기고라스라 아니 체릭 야기슈 칠레온디 드니치 아니 추자라 소버치 록레라 소비다 추자다 간주다 삼일 디비다 추자 망부 질레온디 드니 셴기 다 부글로 싱한 아드인 바이난지 카버다 록레다 틴딜야 쇼지베 아니 셈수그라 틴디 용고여라서라 딘디기 부구친주 공네지 셈라야 남자기야 당 비기 직딱 간지 아니 셈바들 흘 많이 이야기 유기 망부 쇼지 딱 정보 장지시야바나 세리 토니 아니 튼지 토니 레기여라서라
And why I'm saying this, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is His Holiness the Dalai Lama's works about 30 to 40 years ago. And of course, we can, or actually, we know this that our world is actually created, or our world progressed so much because of science. It's because of progression of the science that we are able to do wonders in this world. And this is something that from the individual level, one cannot think how our world progressed so much, especially the technology progress of technology is so vast. And right now what's happening in this world is that even the kids, from the very young age, the kids are so obsessed or so interested, especially this mobile and all these technologies. And because of these, our children or kids are affected by this technology or this mobiles and so on, iPads and so on. And I guess it's because of the so much progress of science. It leads to the uncomfortable, or as you said, that children are now affected very much, and they are affected very much. For example, like this a mind becomes now not so stable, or uh, so all these problems actually, in a way, in one way, we can say that this the science brings about all these problems.
Tani dinza taji teribagi pigi ta shimjuk takjig nanglo la ya ani nambi shom nishibi ani chamzi tadrupti tuji je matu bayna tanda nanshingi teribigi taji takje rangi thola ya ani maungba taji muntuni lo jata kashi chimbayna dinin zambani peshi mani yak samla ra duten chönje chigi sai kola de thodro yak a dindi chaya nyenga yoros ta di nambi gi ani tadrub gi nang chik chamzi gi tadrub di dendu gi tseri bi gi semkam nanglo la ya chik luk thukbay na ani di kapcho di chik onin zambalingi ani kuyu di shiti kuyu jela ya chun tuya gi rewa chunchung chik ta yungu yores ta jawaramba chik di ani dela gongchen di korang la gongchen da dindi gi tablam chik chunchung jiyor da di gi tablam chik ten tuna tenin zambalin shede lamla ya gyu tuya chik yore mando di matu na tenin dan zambalin shede lamla ro tuya gi tablam meba da gyacha gyatamba soro chik da ngarang dindi chik sorgo yores jawaramba chik dindi gi pe ani shib sakbu chik ani tuksum shechi ni ani lamga dindi chi yoba sik chini ta ani tseri kiba mambu nyamdu ta sondu tsogu yora samsung nga di sorgo do sira.
So as I stated earlier, that of course scientists are doing wonders to this world, and scientists are actually examining or investigating the phenomena or the things in such a way. Actually, they are examining the phenomena, and because of this, of course, the world has developed so much, and we can also see that if we try to, right now, scientists are investigating the things, and maybe if we can bring this compassion and loving kindness to the all the scientists or the or in the this can become a medium. So if we are able to create such conditions where both this Buddhist philosophies or the whatever it's said in Buddhist philosophy or in Buddhism, especially this loving kindness and compassion and the progression of science or scientists. So if we can bring about these two together, then actually we can create a wonderful world. This particular uh, earth, so it can bring more peace towards this earth. So if if like only scientists, of course, like progress, this world becomes so much progress nowadays, and if there is no, like if we can't put, like the wonderful idea of this compassion and loving and kindness, then what happens about maybe about 100 years? So I guess this world will become extinct, especially and nowadays what's happening is even like this we are creating this atom bomb and all arms and ammunition to this world. So one day our world, our this beautiful planet will destroyed by all these things. So that's why I feel that His Holiness the Dalai Lama has been trying to this make discussion or trying to discuss with scientists so that this we can bring about, or His Holiness can bring about the peace, world peace, towards the betterment of all the sentient beings. This is what I feel.
락든도 단다 남비 따줍 남비기 따와줘라다 땡종기 따와디 땡종기 따와디 제바치니 온디 제바치 온디 추남기 따 요출 돌아야 제바치기 그래서 배나 두텐 따직 아니 두텐 참모 가주즈기 따 참모이 바이네야 아니 딘디기 참모디 요출디 제바치야죠 라스라 요출디 제바치 온디 요출디 가주스 참모이 바이네야 땐 요르마도 라완드 추요 말이스 라 디 제바디 남비 케바 단징이 쉬와 나렌다기 케비 옹부초다 지 딱지 심주 쇼치거라다 군주 디 돌아야 쇼지 변니 아니 리버 참모진 짜드더니 아니 심주 치요레스 임바이나야 드텐 참모 니츠 드니 텔라야 니바 가주요메 드텐 아니 츠 mambutsawandi niba kari yome, shuk kari yome, tenjigi tolaya cheba che nangyo mares. Dutengi tamu tenni yotsu, teni chuptsuk tola cheba che wondi, tensagi jit yelaya, chete ngibardu che goyachi. Nitsu cha wondi, chamzig lo di kye yungo res. 간지 너르드나 세리비기 텐두기 세리비기 샘감 나와야 남비 따르블야 제바 제당기 리바디 콘솔야 직대 마투바이나 아니 니슈 코랑 톨야 제바치는 로샤바이나 데닌 토르야지 아니 지마도 안 추루루찬 추루루차 도야지 대신은 깔리카고 차고 와서 진짜 여러분이 딘디 시니 아니 남비기 따둑 리바티 덴두기 아니 세리비 삼감 나와야 아니 루투야기 따 타블럼디 총도 저 미드미 돈투니 깨지시니 콘조 리바 마와리 딘자 어 두시니다 아니 세리비 삼감 나와야 루투야기 여러분이 탑시 뒤치고 다 디기 탑시지 톱나 투그리 마토바이나 되니 아니 잠블링 시데트ön 세데 실눈 깔카고 로 디차고 어라스
And with regard to Buddhist philosophy, we are talking about the views of dependence. the dependence, the phenomena, it depends each other. And we are talking about the way the phenomena exist, how it exists. So especially for this philosophy in Buddhism, we analyze what is this partless particle, and what is this the nature of its reality. And all these, partless particles and how it exists, and what is its nature of reality, all these are actually investigated by all these great Nalinda masters, and all the masters of Tibet too. And when I say all these Nalinda masters investigate this partless particles, and all this Nalinda master, I guess they didn't investigate how this union of two partless particle can create uh, or what will become if two partless particles union or get when they meet each other, what it can create. So these Nalinda masters, they haven't investigated on such things. Actually, they investigate it in such a way that how it comes about and what is the nature of reality. So they investigate it in such a way. Anyhow, in brief, if we in Buddhism, whatever it is set in Buddhist religion, if we can bring about this or this very like a compassion and loving and kindness, all these to the minds of scientists, then and whatever the advices that has been said in Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist religion too, then I believe that this world become more peaceful, and we can live more peacefully. And if we can do these things, then of course the world will become more peaceful. Otherwise, I guess it's very difficult to have peaceful life in this particular earth. So that's why His Holiness has been trying to discuss with all these great scientists.
Tā dhīr tā ngānsu ki, ngānsu lega dhīr tā, rā ngānsu mīchik, tā shidī la gāngin ki mīchik hīmbāi na, mīchik sēm kāma nāma hīmbāi na ya, tā dhūp tī lūk tu goya. Rā, chāmzē tā dhīvi, tā dhūp, tēnzhōng ki tā dhūp chik. Yōbāi na, mīdī sēm kāma la ya, rāngshēng ki chāmzē yōngaya chik. Chāmzē yōbāi na, 미치기 샘검라야 잠지 야구지어봐나 디 닌콜레비게 아니 소착 참말로 직 아니 시디 나라야 네트워지 규 차진직 로그라서라 딘자 당안주 망바 samlı 당기요 메세디고 타닌 삼레마도 만주 대리 공다기 체도 닌고 삼lı 당기요라서라 상이 이체도 들이 싸운단 거라서 들이 공다서는 단달 대비 멍바차고 알았어. 상이 슬라는 들이를 대비 멍바로 왔어. 로제마슬라는 달로를 대비 멍바로 왔어. 근데 사망 간주기 아니 실라샤니 내가 지는 로그여라서.
So if we are really fond of the world peace, or if we really want world peace, then I guess it's very important to put some kind of notion to every individual, that as much as we can, that whatever all this like emotions such as compassion, loving kindness. If we can, and also on top of that, this Buddhist philosophy, the things or phenomena exist dependently. So if we can teach, or if we can say, or if we can help to someone else, then I guess it will be very beneficial to uh, to teach to other people about all these things. And this is something, this is our own responsibility to teach or help other people. So when we talk about future, then of course it is it depends on present. And if we talk about present, it depends past too. So for example, like afternoon or evening, then if we are thinking about evening, then what happens is right now we are thinking. So actually, it depends on the present moment also. And when we talk about next year, actually we need to think about, we are thinking on this very particular moment. So that means next year is relevant or dependent on this year, and this year is actually dependent on the past year.
Dinza tanda nganzu ta longpa jiwu shujil dewa rasara. Chitang longpa jiwu shujil rasara Australia. Imba ina ya nganzu ta ndangiyo maras tanda nganzu chik ndangiyo marda. Ben tanji shu deyagi chamzi ki tadru ki ani lobzhong cheyagi chagyan ndangiyo maras. Ngi samna. Ani chik chamzi ki tadru lobzhong chesagi ben ta chik lobnyer kang pu tabu chik mebasa nganzu lin chen di nanglo la ya yo marwasara. Ta nganzu dabala chik chigor dine chinjung shujirwa. Tsak tsubu yo marwasara. Chagin dango marwasara. Tinza chi nipa yongi, ani penjo yongi tsugi, ani longba digi chik kasa kala ya chamzi gi tadrib lobzhong chesa gi tenni ri tsuk tukbay na. Te maungbu gi Australia ki lin chen di nangla hajang ki pendo chenpo chagir wasara. Ta nga mi chunjo jirde ina nga samna di kadun samgor taro. Kadun di samgores. Chi ngone chik sosu ngo shiba chokbo yakshu chik nipa yonge dindi yinba na. Lamsang di gi chik toni lega che tuyagi. Bezun chigi yos. Nin dela ina di chigi yo. Kawa ina dindi chonda pe yagbu yosara as. Ta di maungbu pu yang rimbu la ya chik sosu la ya kari yoba na ya. Gyupenjo kari yoba na tangsa yakshu roba di. Chik ngone gi chik 아니 잠블린 돌아야 시대 상황이지는 딘디 돌아 성 당바이나 다 딜라지 제 니섬나 제 문도스라 제 문도스.
Of course, we are here in Australia. It's very wonderful. And of course, we all are happy being here. And so while I'm saying this, actually, we feel there is some kind of insufficient. We are not so comfortable. So when I say we are not comfortable, it means that we need more compassion, and we need to understand or recognize the this philosophy or the dependency. All the phenomena are dependent with each other. So because of not knowing well both this loving kindness, love and compassion, and the view, the great view. And you can see, as you can see, that we don't have in this Australia, we don't have like where we can learn or study, where we don't have even one good university where we can learn in a real way, like loving and kindness and inner values. We don't have such institutions. Of course, we have institutes like Chenrezig Institute and some Dharma centers, of course, but I feel this is not enough at all. So, so if we can like bring about change, or if we can tell other people, especially those policymakers or those who have lots of wealth and who have power to create such conditions or such university or whatever, this uh, usually what I do is I try to say these things. How wonderful if we can set up such such university or such a place where everybody can learn the inner values. This is what I always try to do. And if some policymakers or the powerful people, if they can, or the wealthy person, if they can actually, you know, invest in such a way, then I guess this will be a very good motivation, or this will be a very good thing to do in one's own life.
DB the longa took nanola and it shook bit javins. Ra G Lomir Kanyak bu Saksu Yongyak chet and shook Jagu de in ya G Niba Yongi, Benju Yongi, and in Mang Chejiki, the raison Jig test is Robachia Mato, Mang Chejiki, Robachia Pa Shani, till Nishuk Chig Dosra, till Kango Chig Dosra. Tinji be any Tabju Dosra. Number ins lagi ya, dig nedun shingum dosra. Dig tola da di karersna di lojong mandang wara da. Number chen ne lo shipching up chin draw ina ya, nanchu lojong ki ni mandang di dig namju di le tugu yo marasra. Samsam la pe hajang ki ani sem pamyak. Dindi yungu dosra.
And past 5 to 6 years, I have tried to put more emphasis on setting up such a university, or where we can learn this all this learn about the inner qualities or inner values. And I have been trying to do this, as I said earlier, about 5 to 6 years. And I try to contact with the powerful people and wealthy people or wealthy person. And most of them are not interested at all, and some are interested. And of course, if they are not interested, it's okay. But and sometimes what happens is actually they are trying to force not to do or not to create such a condition. So this is actually really sad. So, and these people, they're saying that they have been studying or contemplating the Buddhism for past 40 to 50 years, but in reality, it's not like that. And then what I feel is that of course, they are saying that they have been, like become Buddhists for many years, but I guess there is not enough knowledge. One I cannot understand. So while thinking about this, then it brings me sometimes sadness. It saddens me a lot.
Samsam la ya, only dang lega di to da ngan di roba chigre Samsam ki. Mitsugin by na. Roba chia sabla ya. 강고식도 하더라. 드니 배추수 망불어야 썸당 거야 딘디. 딘디 연구도 하더라. 딘디레 다 디카요 말다 다 간진 남주고 만당 와라서라. 딘선 남주고 만당 야 텔라 간줄 탑시치 여바디 롭종 제야레 마도 셴바 탑시치 여 말했더라. 남주고 나야 소야기 탑시치디 롭종랑 제야레스. 롭종 제야고 쿠유 쥐야레스.
And as I said earlier, it saddens me a lot. Um, so actually, whatever project I have been trying to do, and at that particular time, I thought that okay, he or she will help me in this regard, but at that very person actually is not helping me, and also like they are trying to force me not to do that particular job. So it's a little bit sad, and I guess it's because that person is like lack of the knowledge of Buddhism. So this is happening like this, and to have this the real knowledge, then actually what we need to do is we need to learn or study or contemplate more on Buddhism, so that one can help others too.
Oh. Online. 자동인 저직도 써.
Thank you, class.
Hello, Geshe-la.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for making time for my question. Just quickly, I'm wondering if you have any advice for me about what to do when violent thoughts arise in my practice. Sudden thoughts of violent things happening to me while I'm meditating or while I'm doing a particular sadhana practice. What can I do when that happens and I feel like overcome by it? How do I relate to what's happening in my mind when it's so distressing?
아니 뭐라던다 곰게두다 아니 다는 시체니 다 신뢰된데 지로 어딘데 지도 잠발라니 셈나려야 아니 다음에도 튕기두스 아니 따딘데 지도 잠발라 아니 셈나라 딘데기 따 다음에다 아니 두자딘데 마팅기 체도 아니 탑시 카리요레스 기실라치 모로치스
샘나. 저단단 가서 샘날 가rin 챙겨 왔으라. 이번에 피기 소수 가리 성당 되게 텔레야지 조와당 텔레야지 가와지 여바나 안 텔레 샘때 투야기 망때 투야기 다 탑시지여로 왔으라. 양코 공기 내세 센통부 레바이나니 그 샘세 찍도 내기로 왔으라. 다 딜레 메비 까블라 테니 피기기 즉 성로 땅사기 로 유 가리임바 디기지 렉처다 디기지 페일러 소바 아니 가주 유메기 심주 가나간스 제토고 임바이나 안 델야 가와지다 트로아지 레그레스 딜레바이나 아니 델야 셈만 테토야 텔레셈 가주 슉 쳔부 때바 디츠기 아니 삼로 셴바디 망코아지 다 용거로 와서라 마도 홉칼 삼로 셴바 자원이네 망코야 탑시 셴바다 맨 사나마도 다 여기 말했으라 아
So, so whatever we are doing, or during meditation, or during practice, or while doing sadhanas, before that, it's actually very important to set your mind. And actually, we need to set uh, we need to set our mind in such a way that it brings more enjoy, or more peaceful to oneself. And so it's like before, or motivation. Then at the time of doing meditation or sadhana or whatever, then that motivation will keep you, and you're, of course, at that particular time. So this violent thought will not arise during the practice. So it's very important to think in such a way that you know uh, uh, the what are its uh, the beneficial, and what if I don't meditate or practice, if I don't do, then what will be, the demerits are, what are the demerits are. So we need to think like this. And of course, whenever we try to think at that particular time, and then of course this our mind tend to like wander sometimes. This is natural. And so if like it takes time to especially during the meditation, it will take time before, like one can be able to meditate on that particular object very well. Of course, it takes time.
Thank you so much.
Final Lamrim prayer. From my two types of merits vast a space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be grounded boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And pray for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang Father and Sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings. Through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you very much. The next public teaching with Geshe-la will be on Friday, the 6th February. Thank you.